All photos are black and white historic photographs unless otherwise stated. National Park Service logo, Joshua Tree National Park, experience your America. Trees and rock formation pass by.
Visitors from all over the world come to experience the wonders of Joshua Tree National Park.
Tortoise walking.
They come for rock climbing,
Milky Way,
dark night skies,
purple flowers,
wildflowers, and to see the expansive desert landscape.
Landscape dotted with Joshua
But
trees.
in the 19th century, people were drawn to this area for very different reasons.
Photo of a line of miners with horses
Rugged
attached to carts.
individuals came to try their luck at cattle ranching, mining, and homesteading.
Bill leans against fence made of
The
Joshua
story
trees.
of William F. Keyes and his family demonstrates the hard work and ingenuity it took to not only survive, but prosper in the high desert.
Photo looking down on ranch fades into present day. Woman with ranger uniform, text reads, Sarah Jane Pepper, interpreted park ranger.
Welcome back to Keyes Ranch. In the last episode, we explored what brought people to this area and the start of Bill's life on the ranch.
Photo Bill and Francis with 3 small children in front of ranch house.
Bill and Francis had 7 children. They lost 2 of their sons when they were only infants, just a few days old.
Windmill over well.
And another son died in an accident here at the well when he was 11.
Horizontal piece of wood held by 2 posts with a
Ellsworth
crank in a
Keyes'
bucket.
accident happened here at the windlass. Originally, this structure sat on top of the well, and for the children to fetch water, they had to crank the heavy bucket up to the top and then set a brake before reaching to grab the bucket. The brake must have slipped because the crank came around and struck Ellsworth in the back of his head. He survived for several weeks on the ranch, but eventually succumbed to his injury.
Lizard on top of one of the posts of the windlass. Cleared flat land where the garden used to be with a retaining wall in front.
With so many children living on the ranch, Bill and Francis had a lot of mouths to feed. They maintained a large garden here near the house, but it wasn't easy.
Photo ranch house with
For
trellis.
starters, Bill had to gather cattle manure and organic matter to compost
Photo
so
irrigated
that
garden.
the soil would be rich enough for plants to grow.
Photo 3 men with corn stalks.
They grew corn, beans, carrots, tomatoes, cucumbers, peanuts, dill, and kale. And they also planted fruit trees,
Tree with budding fruit.
apples, peaches, plums, almonds, and
The book
pears.
titled The Farmer's Handbook
In
of
order to plant
Explosives.
these trees, Bill actually put dynamite in the ground and blasted out holes so that the tree's roots could grow into the hard-packed soil.
Large tree with green leaves and orchard.
The Keyes family took pride in the success of their orchard and often exhibited in local fairs. Newspaper clippings tout the size and quality of their produce.
2 newspaper clippings titled Fancy Fruit from Bill Keyes Ranch and Fine Fruit at Keyes. Photo cattle on ranch.
Bill maintained a herd of cattle to supply his family with beef. The kids took care of smaller livestock like chickens, rabbits, and sheep.
Car used as a chicken coop.
They occasionally would trap wild animals like jackrabbits, which Mrs. Keyes could use to make a stew.
Photo Keyes with rifle held in a shooting position as he sits near the garden.
Having an orchard and a garden, livestock, and even mining require a lot of water.
Photo Francis at well
Bill
with water.
had 4 wells on this property, but sometimes in the desert, wells could go dry without any warning.
Suspended bucket over
To make
well.
sure that he would have plenty of water for himself and his family,
Sarah points to
Bill
dam.
built a dam in a natural low area in the rocks.
Photo Lake at Ranch 1917.
Originally, this was an earthen dam that held back a reservoir of water. The Keyes used this necessary water for their garden, orchard, livestock, and mining, but they also used it for recreation.
Photos ice skating
They
on the
swam
lake.
in the lake in the summertime and ice skated on it in the wintertime. They even stocked it with fish.
Photo man with fishing pole. Photo Bill with goat on top of rocks.
The family's goats used to walk back and forth over the top of the earthen dam, creating a
2 banks where
trail.
low-lying area
This
leads the
weakened
ranch.
the dam, so during one heavy storm, it burst. A wall of water washed over the garden. The family lost all of the plants that were in their garden,
Photo lake.
all of that rich soil that they'd spent so much time building up, and several hundred jars of canned food that they'd stored on the banks of the reservoir.
Photo Bill clearing the lake with mules after the dam
After
broke.
the dam burst, the family took advantage of access to the rich silt at the bottom of the reservoir. They scraped it together to use as their new starter soil here in
Photo
the
Bill and
garden.
friend build dam.
Bill
circa
rebuilt the
1960.
earthen dam and then eventually a concrete dam, which still holds water today.
Photo looking down on concrete dam with water behind it. Wall along the garden with rectangular rocks.
Notice the shape of the rocks that make up the retaining wall. All of these stones were cut, and this is how Bill did
Sarah
it.
with star drill
The
and
way
hammer.
that Bill would cut stones with a star drill is to find a spot where he thought the rock would break neatly, and then drill a line of holes. And to do that, he'd insert this piece of iron called a star drill into the hole, hit it with a hammer, and then turn it.
Drill is long with the shape of an X.
And
on
that's
one
how
end.
he made the little holes. And then he would pound into the holes tight-fitting wooden plugs, soak the plugs with water, which would cause them to expand, and the rock would break along that line.
Scrapyard with spare parts and equipment. Ranch house in the background.
After selecting this site for his house, the first thing Bill built was the
Metal
chimney.
drum on top of chimney.
Although the house has changed many times over the years, the chimney has stayed the same, and today you can see it exactly as Bill built it. is recognized by the Smithsonian as an example of excellent amateur masonry.
Ranch house with an old car in front, a fence made with trunks from the Joshua trees, and a smaller building on the left.
The ranch house was a center of activity. It's a place where the family prepared and ate their meals, slept, entertained their guests, and relaxed together. In the summertime, this desert cooler kept the family's dairy and produce fresh. The way this works is strips of burlap are draped from a pan over the sides of the mesh box. The pan is filled with water, which wicks down the burlap. Cool breezes along the shady side of the house create an evaporative cooling effect for the food inside.
Box inside of the house with burlap on sides and old bottles and pots inside the box.
While the house did not have indoor plumbing, Frances liked to joke that she always had running water. She just had to send a kid to run and get it.
Photo of daughter Virgie at the well.
As you can see, Bill Keyes and his family had the basic necessities of food, water, and shelter covered. But they didn't just survive out here, they thrived. Join us back at Keyes Ranch in the next episode to learn more about the family-run store, daily life, chores, and the children's education.
Sarah in front of Ranch House Kitchen fades into photo of Bill Keyes standing in the same location. Text on screen as Sarah speaks.
Joshua Tree National Park offers ranger-guided tours of Keyes Ranch for visitors who want a more in-depth look at the lives of the Keyes family. As a historic place with many artifacts, for your safety and to ensure protection of the resource, visitors to the ranch must be accompanied by a ranger. This helps to preserve the historical value of the site for visitors today and for future generations.
Time-lapse of clouds moving above Keyes Ranch House. Extra rates reservations can be made by calling 760-367-5522. Videography by Brad Sutton and Leon Law. Produced and co-written by Leon Law. Narrated and co-written by Sarah Jane Pepper. Royalty-free Creative Commons music acoustic briefs from Ben Sound Home Movies from freestockmusic.com. Get social, Joshua Tree, www.nps.gov/JOTR. Social media icons, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Flickr.